The Nintendo Switch 2 launched to a hot start with two great games from Nintendo in Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bananza, and the best third-party support that they have seen in decades. Things have calmed down a little bit in August, but there have still been some amazing games to play. But which one is the best? What game is the must-buy game of August and can claim the title of Game of the Month on the Nintendo Switch 2? What's there to look forward to in September? And make sure you stick around to see if I can correctly predict what I think will be the Game of the Month for September. What's up, everyone? This is Justin, and welcome to Just Keep Playing. Please join me today as we talk about what game is the must-buy game of the month on the Nintendo Switch 2 for August. There are several games worthy of being highlighted that came out in August. But before we get to those games, first I want to talk about what were my game of the month for June and July. June saw what was, in my opinion, the greatest launch lineup that Nintendo has seen in a very long time when you include everything: first party games, Switch 2 editions, the enhanced backwards compatibility, and some really good third party support. The hidden gem of that launch lineup was Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, but I have to go with Mario Kart World for Game of the Month of June. The knockout mode was just too much fun, and I had a blast playing Mario Kart World. And Mario Kart World's version of Rainbow Road is one to remember and must be experienced without you seeing it beforehand. So check that out if you have not gotten to that yet. And then for July, that one is hands down Donkey Kong Bananza, which right now is sitting at the top of the list for me as my game of the year. We'll see if anything can knock it off from that number one spot. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bananza, that is an amazing game. But I would love to know what were your favorite games from June and July of the Nintendo Switch 2, and what is your game of the month for August? Let me know in the comments below. For me, there were two clear contenders, but we are going to get to that in a little bit. But right now, we are going to highlight several of the games that made August such a memorable month for the Nintendo Switch 2. So August was a little bit slower of a month. Nintendo was giving us some time to still just enjoy the goodness and amazingness that is and was Donkey Kong Bananza. But there were still some noteworthy releases. Nintendo released their wheelchair basketball game, Drag Cross Drive, Drag X Drive, however you want to say it. It's a unique game, and to me, it's one of the games that highlights that Nintendo uniqueness. That is the type of game that only they would make and put out. Not the greatest game in the world, but it was fun and novel, and you know, I had fun making the motion and going Kobe before sinking the shot. How many times, how much I will play this game? Probably not much, but it was cool to just experience the uniqueness of using the Joy-Con controllers like that for the Nintendo Switch 2. And then in August, we finally saw the much requested return of Madden onto a Nintendo platform. For whatever reason, in spite of all the fans clamoring and requesting for EA to put Madden on the original Nintendo Switch, they just never did. They skipped the entire Nintendo Switch generation. But now, finally, on the Nintendo Switch 2, the EA is there at the beginning of the Nintendo Switch 2 with Madden 2026. Reports on quality of the game vary depending on who you talk to, but for the most part, it seems like the Nintendo Switch 2 got a pretty good version of this year's Madden, and it is a feature parity version of the game, not some watered down, hand-me-down, here you go, Nintendo version of it, but it is a legitimate version of the game, and the only way that you can play Madden any way you want, handheld, portable, and on the TV. So that was definitely a big highlight on the Nintendo Switch 2 in August. And also from EA, we got the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Apex Legends that finally made that a game to not be embarrassed to play on the Nintendo Switch 2. That Nintendo Switch version, they managed to make it work somehow, but it was not a great version of the game. But now there is a good version of the game that Nintendo fans can play on a Nintendo Switch 2. It's got gyro controls, it's got mouse controls. It is taking advantage of the Nintendo Switch 2, and that is really cool to see. And then for my cozy game fans, we got Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar, and it seems like the fans of that game are absolutely loving this one. You got your farming, you got your town building, you got your romance, you got everything that you could want in a cozy life sim type of game. It's not really the type of game for me, but for those that really love that type of game and that love Story of Seasons, it very well could be their game of the month for August. If you're a cozy game fan and you love the Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, let me know in the comments below if it is your game of the month. And while you're here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and join me as we talk about the best in Nintendo and Nintendo gaming and the Nintendo Switch 2. And now it is time to talk about the two clear standouts for game of the month for me in August. For me, my August game of the month was always going to be between two games. And first up, it was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, plus Star-Crossed World. That is a mouthful. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was already an amazing top tier game on the Nintendo Switch. It's probably somewhere in my top 10, top 15 on the original Nintendo Switch. Absolutely love that game. One of my favorites. I played through the entire game with my wife, and it is just a cherished memory playing that game, and it really means a lot to me. And then getting an enhanced version of that on the Nintendo Switch 2 with increased resolution and better frame rates and better graphics and just the overall better experience. Yes, sign me up. That was awesome. I was already in. But then they added in the Star-Crossed World, where we got more levels and new levels and new mouthful modes and additions to the arena and just more amazing Kirby and the Forgotten Land gameplay. Now, the Star-Crossed World content isn't the largest expansion in the world. It can take you anywhere from between 3 to 6 hours to go through all of it, but there's enough there to make an already amazing game even better. And the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the definitive way to play this game. Now, yes, the asking price can be a bit pricey because they are tacking on that $20 basically for the DLC. So the complete package comes in at $80. But you can find the original Nintendo Switch game on sale at various different retailers if you're trying to save some money. So you can pick it up from one of those places, your Best Buy, your Target, Walmart, or Amazon, and then just go ahead and get that upgrade pack on the Nintendo Switch 2 for $20 to save some money. But if you want that Nintendo Switch 2 edition version, it is going to cost you, but you will be getting an amazing game, one of the best platformers to come out in recent years, and just to me, the best Kirby game of all time. But Kirby does have some competition for Game of the Month, and that is Shinobi Art of Vengeance. 2025 has been the year of the ninja, the return of the ninja. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. We had Ninja Gaiden Ragebound come out last month. We had Shinobi Art of Vengeance this month. And then coming out later this year, there's Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out on various platforms. So there is a lot of ninja love going on this year in 2025, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance is a great game to get your ninja action on with. It's that old school challenging 2D beat 'em up action style gameplay, and it is a blast. It looks amazing. It has some banging music, challenging boss fights, and some optional challenge levels for you to tackle. And now technically there's not a Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game. It is a game on the original Nintendo Switch, but through enhanced backwards compatibility, you get enhanced performance of the Nintendo Switch game on the Nintendo Switch 2 for Shinobi Art of Vengeance. And if you love this style of gameplay, if you loved Metroid Dread, Ori, Castlevania, Hollow Knight, Ninja Gaiden, I highly recommend Shinobi Art of Vengeance. There is a demo available for the game on the eShop or wherever you want to play the game, but it's available on the eShop. Check it out, see how you like it, and give Shinobi Art of Vengeance a try. But which one is the game of the month? So Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that is an amazing game, but technically it is not a brand new game. Yes, we got some new content with Star-Crossed World, but it is not a new game. Shinobi, that is a brand new game, and Sega and Lizard Cube did their thing with this game. If you haven't played Kirby and the Forgotten Land before, that I highly recommend that game. But for me, looking for that brand new stuff, Shinobi Art of Vengeance is my game of the month for August. But let me know what your game of the month is for August in the comments below. And with August coming to an end, what is there to look forward to in September? Now, August had some good games. Let's say Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Story of Seasons, Shinobi, all amazing. But business is about to pick up in September, and the beginning of the month is stacked on the Nintendo Switch 2. We got Star Wars Outlaws, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Daemon X Machina, Chronos The New Dawn, NBA 2K26, all coming out in the first week of September. There's Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles coming out in September, what many fans consider to be one of the best strategy games of all time, and one that they have been clamoring for a remake or remaster to come out on modern systems, and so we are finally getting that. And then there is Trails in the Sky, the first chapter. This game is really exciting. It's a remake of the first game that kicked off the Trails saga, one of the most popular RPG series going on today. A long form story driven continuity-based game that has been telling a continuous story over many games and several years. And so now people that are looking to get into the series finally have that starting point to really be able to get into the series from the beginning. And fans of the original game and fans of the series, they have a really cool remake to look forward to, with a ton of new content in it, a brand new combat system that features both turn-based and action-based gameplay. There's a very meaty demo available to download right now on the eShop. I've been playing that demo and I'm already like 8.5 hours into the game, and your progress carries over to the full version of the game. So if you're curious about it, definitely go and download that and give it a try. You add all of that up, and what do you get? Even in a month with a potentially great game as Hollow Knight Silk Song will probably be, Trails in the Sky first chapter is my most anticipated game for this month, for the month of September, and that is what I am predicting will be my game of the month for September. Make sure you tune in next month to see if Trails in the Sky first chapter is my game of the month, or if Hollow Knight Silk Song maybe came through and stole the crown. But until then, let me know what you think in the comments. What game are you looking forward to the most in September? Is there a game that I'm missing? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. For more exciting Nintendo Switch 2 games, check out this video right here where we talk about Metroid Prime 4 and why now is its time, and now it's time to get hyped for Metroid Prime 4. And until next time, remember to pick up a controller and just keep playing. See you later. Have a good one. Peace.